We're now talking to Laura Lee from Laura Lee and the Jets. Laura Lee, I understand that you have played South by Southwest before.
Yes, we played in 2022, I think. I remember because I was pregnant, and
Uh-huh.
it's the year my daughter was born. So, yeah, but it was still a little bit affected by COVID and seemed like a bit quieter. And I'm happy that we now get to return 3 years later and non-pregnant and with new music, and also with the pandemic regulations and everything lifted a bit, so it feels busier and lighter and yeah.
I'm wondering what it was like, was that the first time you'd played in the States?
No, actually, so I was in a band called Gur before I started my solo project, and we played a little bit in the States. We toured with a band called Priests. We did a little US tour and New York. And I also studied in Philadelphia actually for a year, so I'm
Aha.
not like. I've always I love the States and I have many friends from here, and it means a lot to me that I get to bring my music over here. Yeah.
I have a question. Given the political situation in the U.S., what's
Yeah.
it like for you to be back here? Because I know you love the States and you're from Germany, which
Yeah.
has dealt with similar. Have any of your friends talked with you about
Of
the
course, it's been a
current?
big topic, and I think I've never felt so also conflicted about coming here, and um, yeah, it definitely has a bitter bite taste or something to coming, but I'm differentiated enough, and I know enough people that I know not all Americans agree with the politics of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and JD Vance and all those people that are now in charge. And I think it's important to also bring that back to Europe, that there's people that think differently, that are not that are working on the grounds, that are protesting, that are grassroots, just fighting for democracy at the moment. And I think that's also that is now maybe more important than ever. A good reason to support, and I have been feeling that since I'm here. I have been feeling that there's dissent. I also feel that people are really exhausted though, because it's been going on for such a long time now, and maybe during the first presidency you were still a little bit more it was just fresher, and now it's just been going on for so long that I can imagine that it's just exhausting to always show up, but it's still important, and maybe more important than ever.
Certainly in Europe, it seems that, and unfortunately, this is not unique to the U.S. In Europe, you see the rise of a lot of far right politicians. Why do you think that is?
Um, I I don't know if only I understood the psychology of that a little bit more. I think people are misled a little bit by easy and digestible information that they are fed, and have maybe unlearned to hold more complex explanations for the reasons in mind. So, for example, people in Germany are very upset about. I mean, I think you have a similar situation here, that the cost of living has been going up so exponentially that it's unemployment. And then it's so super easy to blame refugees for that or something, or blame when the actual reason is still the pandemic that we're still recovering from economically, and also the war in Ukraine, and it's like people follow for, I think, just easier explanations sometimes, and I don't know. I've also been guilty of that, and have now subscribed to a proper newspaper again, and I'm trying to. Instead of just looking on socials because you just get fed for what the algorithm is feeding you, and I think it's important to consider more variety of sources, and also just like an article will get you a more biased, unbiased explanation than just a TikTok post, you know, that is very one-sided, I think, often.
One thing I do think, let's get back to the music a bit. You mentioned that your more recent music is inspired by bands like Neu! And Can and all those avant-garde German artists. And you also mentioned they aren't very well known in Germany. How did you discover them?
Good question. I think I've actually discovered them more through my American friends or international friends than really through German friends. That's how unpopular they are a little bit in Germany, which is so weird. And they've made such a big impact. I think, I don't know if it was Neu! Or Can, they actually also toured a lot in South America with these Goethe Institute grants, and like they never had like mass appeal. You know, it was never. It's a very underground niche music, crowd rock that was more popular outside of Germany than it was in Germany. But I think it still is really ingrained in German music because that's obviously like the prototype for techno music as we know it now. And I don't go clubbing anymore. I used to in Berlin, but I do remember this just very physical response that music can create as well in a club, you know, when there's a break or like a bass goes out and you can just feel it, the tension rising, how DJs can lead a mood in that way. And that is something that has influenced, I think, also my songwriting on that last record, how guitar music can also achieve that. And we're part of our songs, I think, and also our live shows are doing that, like just working with the crowd and hopefully making them lose themselves in the music. Yeah.
I'm wondering what it felt like, you know, to be performing on stage while pregnant. Actually, I'll tell you this much. My boyfriend was in the audience at the time when you mentioned this.
That's so funny.
And they were all going, baby, baby. What did it feel like, you know, to have that?
It was awesome. I think, you know, I never want to say, I know a lot of other moms who I was just really lucky that I had a very easy pregnancy and also really easy birth, actually. And I also sometimes want to share that because I think we're fed also these narratives. Everybody always has these birth stories that it's horrible and people are screaming and it's the most pain you've ever felt. And while that may be true for a lot of people, it wasn't true for me, and I think it's good to not scare people, you know. And my pregnancy was really easy. It was awesome, actually. It was just awesome to have my daughter like with me in that in an environment that I feel really comfortable in and not think. Already during pregnancy, I think I started to. I'm not going to change who I am just because I'm now a mom, and I'm not going to. I will do that now with this extra person who's around and who's in my life now, and but I will not, and I don't have to just now follow some, I don't know, stereotypical different life, you know, and that's been also. That's been really because like I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't raised in this like creative family where it was normal that my mom would be gone for like now 10 days on tour in the US. Like that's not how I grew up. But I'm actually excited that my daughter will grow up like that and that she will see now already from a very early age on her mom doing stuff like that. Yeah.
You mentioned your mom going on tour.
No, she didn't. That's like my point was like that I didn't grow up. No, all good. Like that my mom didn't do that, and that it's now I'm going a different path. Yeah.
But you came from a very creative environment.
Not really. Like my mom definitely like listened to a lot of music. She was also there's a picture of her with Mark Bolan actually from T-Rex because she was like a dancer in a TV show in Germany for a while. So and my dad also plays a lot of music. So they did definitely pass the way for me to, with also music lessons, and that we had like instruments at home, and that was detrimental in my now path. But they still had very normal jobs, and it is like now this like instability and stuff that I'm having is definitely new in my family and comes with some questions occasionally, but overall they're really supportive, and it's just that they didn't do it. But sometimes my dad tells me like, you're now living my dream. I've always wanted to do stuff like that, which is really nice.
I'm wondering, you also worked on a couple of documentaries, didn't you?
Yeah, I was, so there, when I was pregnant, after I had my daughter, Vice magazine reached out and they wanted to do a story about, just motherhood as a musician. So it was pretty fresh. I think I was only 8 weeks postpartum or something, and they came to my house and were like, just now showcasing how all of the emotional turmoil that was going on in me, and also how I was preparing for my first practice and time apart, like a little bit of time apart from my daughter. So that was interesting. Yeah.
And also, you mentioned you've been in a band called Gerb. When you decided on the solo project, were you a little bit nervous about that, or did you feel like now it's time to do
I was super nervous before it, and I think it took me a long time to become more confident in my art and in my songwriting, and it was definitely, and also in my stage presence. I think it's not something that happens overnight. So if anyone's also listening that is like wants to be a performer or wants to be a musician, that it's not like you wake up that you are great at it just in a second or something. It really takes a long time, and it's going to, these insecurities are part of it, and it's just by doing it more and more, you're gonna get better at it.
Well, thank you